right, let's see how this works. Okay. What's this? Mhm. Okay. What's going on? Testing this here. Mobile streaming on the phone. Some new feature they put out there, so figure I'll try it out. See what this is all about. What is going on? Good people. Testing this new YouTube vertical live. What's up, Mark? How you holding up, my brother? Yeah, just popping in here real quick, testing out this new feature that they have. I got a pop up. So the rule of thumb is when the system asks you to do something, you somewhat try to do it. So doing a little bit of that, but just popping in real quick to see how this kind of works. Since it's all on the phone, so that's a little bit different than on the computer. But that's about it. Try to schedule a few of these and put them out there with some time to hit on different subjects and topics and things. So that'll be pretty cool. Let's see. I wonder if it lets me. Um, oh, awesome. Great. Yeah, like I said, I'm not too. I'm still trying to figure this out a little bit here. So I don't think I can. Okay, I can pin chats. So that's pretty cool. I don't think it lets me type in there the way it works. But I can see all the chat, so that's that. There's a little poll there, so a little poll pops up. So that's pretty nifty. Create other polls. I can share. I can do something called a highlight. Highlight saved. Oh, okay. I guess you get highlight certain sections, I guess, of the video. So that's something. But yeah, just kind of popping in here real quickly, seeing what's up. Good people, testing this thing out because the system said to try it, so I am trying it. So there's that part. Uh, let's see. We have our BDD workshop. That's a big thing I've been talking about quite a bit. So if you're interested in that, link is in my bio. If you know anybody who's active duty, who is transitioning, that's some good information that we want to make sure we get out. So it's active duty transitioning workshop. It'll be the 19th. Talking VA claims for all folks that are transitioning services, things like that. So that'll be a pretty good class that people have been asking about. So pretty excited for that. Check on the sound check. So appreciate that, Mark. Let's see. I had let's see the website up the other day for some stuff that I was doing. I was showing the actual page and sign up and things like that. So I'll be able to show that or bring it up here in a second too. But pretty excited for that though, nonetheless. The link to sign up for the what you would call it for the workshop again. That's gonna be at 19. That link's in bio. It's a wait list right now. We should be releasing in a few days the wait list information. So that's pretty cool to put out. And just got the final page up that we'll be using for the sign up once it goes live. I think I should be able to show it here actually. Let me see. Let me see. So this is, I guess, one cool thing since we're kind of here using this stuff here. So I think I could switch it. Oh, there it is. So that's what the page looks like there as far as kind of what we're doing, how to navigate BDD claims for active duty personnel. Looks a little choppy, I guess, because of the fact that I'm just kind of looking at the screen here, but this will be pretty cool. So the biggest thing here is, preparing, strategizing, and so forth. So a lot of our vets, soon to be vets, go through some of these issues, not knowing where to go, not knowing where to start. The help sometimes might not be the best. So making sure that we kind of create some stuff. So this will be the page link that we'll put out here soon with some FAQs and things like that. So this will be good to get out for our folks, as well as like the new web page that we have going up. So that'll be nice. You know that you're in the right sign up place for the waitlist. If you click the link in my bio, you'll see something that looks a little something like this. Let me make this a little bit smaller so you can kind of see it a little bit better. But you'll see, even here on YouTube it has it, but you'll see like the different links. So you can get the BDD checklist, which is pretty good. I definitely encourage folks to get that if you haven't. Looks a little something like this, has a lot of information for folks that are transitioning. So this checklist has a lot of cool stuff in here, things to do. And you can sign up for the wait list for the shop, for the workshop we're doing there. But that link here will take you there to the join the wait list. You'll know you're there. You'll see Dwight Happy. Sign up, get the information. That'll be cool. And then some other cool stuff we have to include our CMP class. Next one is coming up next week. So you'll know you're there. Click that. You can join our newsletter. Some pretty cool information that we have there. So good stuff that we have there on the link in bio with some pretty cool stuff. But excited for that. If you haven't seen our website, we're updating that. So that's going to be pretty cool. The current one looks a little something like this. And then we're moving to a whole new one, which will be getting live here in the next day or so. And you know you're there because it has that pretty cool stuff there. So it'll be pretty cool to kind of get stuff there. You can take a look at, the team, who we have, things like that. So pretty cool on the About Us side of the house, a little bit about who we are, the team, etc. So that will be live here shortly. But yeah, so let's see what we got for the poll. Pretty much everyone is rated in some shape, fashion, or form, so that's awesome. Yeah, if you're watching, let me know what branch of service you were in and the years that you served. Always cool, kind of see who we have in the crew, and people are good to, come together and share some of that stuff. So that's nice to do. But yeah, I'm just really popping in again on these lives here on YouTube. I got a prompt that this is a new thing they're doing now, I guess, where you can go live in real format. So that's something new. And I got the notification, so I figured let me go try it just to play nice with the system because they like when you do that. So this is kind of new, doing it on the phone versus being able to do it on a computer and share things. So a little bit something different. But yeah, if y'all have questions, any VA claim questions or BDD questions, benefit delivery and discharge for people who are transitioning service, feel free to pop them in. I'll hang out for a little bit, answer some questions. What's going on, Benny? Just got rewarded 20% on each shoulder, 10% for lower back and mid back, neck, and 10 for the knee. This was just awarded. How do I get bilateral? So it automatically should click, should already add the bilateral aspect to those. So you're not necessarily having to file for it. Rather, when they have, both left and right type of situations, like in this case here, it automatically adds it there. So it's like a little 1% thing that adds it to. So you may not really kind of see something that says bilateral, but it's factored in there when everything else adds up. So it's like a little minor type of, extra point that kind of gives in there, which kind of adds up as you move forward other things. So that'll take care of that. Let's see. When did you get out of service? Is that the only thing you're rated for? Do you have anything else? But yeah, that's pretty cool. Got the shoulders, you got the lower back, neck, and then the knees. So you should have yeah, bilateral for the shoulder, bilateral for the knees. Then you got the low back and the neck. Check. All right. Yeah, so that's a pretty good. Okay, let's see. 90% total. Need a number at 40% to. Okay, what's your raw score? But yeah, you need a number at 40. So what's the 90 comprised of? So what else do you have outside of what you listed there? Yeah, but if you're rather not so much the cumulative score, right? But more so like the raw score. Are you like a 93 or a 92 rounding down type of thing? That's what I meant rather versus like the addition thing. But you need a 40 check. So what's the okay, yeah. So you got 8 left, and that's where yeah you need something to push you over. So you need 3 points to take you over. That's where that VA math kicks in. What's the other 90% comprised of? What else do you have? Let's see. I'll wait for you to pop in with that answer. Let's see. 70% TBI PTSD, 30 headaches, 10 to tinnitus. When did you get 30% for the headache? That might be something. Did you deploy anywhere? What branch were you in? When did you serve? Any presumptives potentially there, maybe? Things to look at. So, but check. Yeah, the headaches, again, depending on the frequency, that can go to a 50 if they're more frequent than the 30 range. So, I have a video up on here that you can check out the TBI migraines 101, and I kind of covered in there the migraines at the 50% range. Keyword being there not only the frequency intensity, but also the economic impact on work and so forth. Let's see, Army Infantry, Battle Silent City, 2008, Afghanistan, Jubilee, Afghanistan. Yeah, so you may have, potentially, again, if you have these symptoms, I'm always very subjective. I always want to make that clear because I know people get, their panties in a bunch when it comes to some of this stuff. But if you have those presumptives in place, maybe instances for like IBS is common, GERD is common, those GI issues, respiratory issues, asthma, things like that. Those things are common for sure. So things to consider if you have those symptoms there. Migraine increase that might be a play there again from the 30 to the 50. And again, if IBS or GERD or respiratory problems, not sleep apnea, are present, that may be an argument there for sure. So yeah, you got a few options for sure. It's crazy because like you're right there, right? So I get it. But okay, cool, very cool. Let's see, got some more votes. All right, let's see, got 11 folks who are rated 100%. Cool. Yeah, everybody else watching, let me know the branch of service you were in and the years that you served. So it's cool to kind of see who we have in attendance. Let's see here. I thought I'd be able to add the shoulders, total 4%, 20%. Yeah, and that's the way it kind of sometimes, it's a little bit kind of misnomer, like the musculoskeletal. Sometimes it'll push you over, whatnot, but those internals, those other things, at times tend to be the ones that really kind of can push the needle somewhat forward. Iraq War Stories, 2006 USMC, Semper Fidelis. Glad to see you here. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Right. Yeah, but that's a good point there. You're very welcome. Brian's in the building. Yeah, so just for those popping in, trying out this new feature. I got a message from YouTube saying try this out. Now they're doing lives in real format. So this live pops up on regular feed and real feed. So that's kind of the thing they're wanting folks to explore and try. So hence here we are just kind of popping in. So it's a little bit different because on the phone a little bit more. So they're trying to get TikTok-ish, I guess. So I think that's always interesting to see how all that works. But trying different things, so why not give it a whirl? I can't really type back, so that's kind of interesting. What do we have here? I like to change little filters and stuff, so I guess that's pretty cool. Green makes the blood makes the green grass grow. Oh snap! There you go, night op situation. Oh lord, why did they give me freaking these options? I'm over here freaking just clicking all kinds of crap. Whoop. Well, there's that. Well, I'm sure I pretty much gave somebody some kind of freaking whatchamacallit, epileptic seizure of sorts. Let's see. I was pension disability, now I'm 80%, still waiting on PTSD eval. Do you feel it'll give me a push? Do you have any PTSD at all or not? I feel like I should be watching on my phone instead of my iPad. And I guess that's what but that's a good point though, Brian. I think that's kind of what this is trying to do, right? Because again, the first thing I said when I jumped on was like this is different than me showing stuff on a computer, which is what YouTube is usually kind of lending towards versus TikTok being kind of a phone and things like that. So this kind of gives it a more homey feel, I guess, right? Like I should probably be watching this on my phone. So yeah, check. So you just had the um, you haven't had the eval yet, correct? So you haven't had your PTSD eval, right, Charles? Just so I'm clear. So a few things. I think it can. I think it can. If you're 80% without mental health, again, mental health can go 10, 30, 50, 70, 100. If you look back on my videos here, you'll see I have a 50 to 70 um, video for mental health, and I have a 70 to 100 video. If you want, I definitely would encourage you to check out. I'll teach a class called Ace Your CMP, Navy Explosion. Check. So it's symptom based, right? So check. We got the stressor, but now we have to talk about the symptoms today. I teach a class every other week. This coming Wednesday, I'm doing a Ace Your CMP class. It's a class that I teach for CMP specifically, how to Ace Your CMP, right? But check the videos that I have. I kind of cover symptomologies, symptoms for mental health. Again, the 50 to 70, 70 to 100 is the jump from 50 to 70, the jump from 70 to 100. But the live class I teach is next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. The link to that is in my bio. I can't post links because I can't really type when I'm doing like this. I'm sure I messed that whole thing up in some shape, fashion, or form. But yeah, 'cause I could pin post and whatnot, but I can't necessarily do a thing. But nonetheless, that link's in my bio for that class if you want to check that out. But yeah, I think you can. I think it's just more so you have to be able to speak to the symptoms. So you are correct in the sense that something happened. But one of the things I always harp on when it comes to mental health, when it comes to CMPs, is that a disability is a present tense conversation versus a what happened situation. So, Navy explosion, a good friend passed in this situation. Okay, check. Now the conversation becomes 10% what happened and then 90% what is happening now. So, what are your symptoms today? What are the things you're dealing with? And understanding that rationale and line of reasoning is what's going to help a veteran better make their argument to be able to say, okay, hey, this is where I'm at right now. These are the things that I'm dealing with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that would help for sure. For those watching, give it a thumbs up to see how that affects the algorithm here. We got 16 folks here kind of watching, so I don't know honestly how the heck you're supposed to give it a thumbs up because from my side I can't see it. I've never really seen these things, so I can't really tell you how that works on y'all's side there. But yeah, see if that kind of helps to push out the video some as I test out these things. But a little poll is up. Appreciate y'all. If you could give it a thumbs up. I'm not sure if it's like a double tap or you see like a little screen somewhere to do a thing, but that would be helpful. But that's what I would say, Charles, for you as far as how you can go about better preparing to do that thing. So, yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Let's see. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Just hanging out for a little bit here. Just kind of, I see some little hundreds going up, so that's dope. Yeah, I don't quite know how the thumbs up things work. Like I said, it's really completely new to me. So again, I'm just kind of popping in here for a little bit. I'm DP. founder of Veterans Network Champions Club, VNCC. You'll see me post some more videos. I'm trying to do some more stuff here on YouTube. I spend a lot of time on TikTok, so it's that's where we have most of our following. But nonetheless, we're here trying to stand up the YouTube side. I think it's just more conducive to be able to look at some of the content we create. Things don't get lost as much here as other platforms. So appreciate you guys watching. If you're following, that's appreciated for sure. So pain usually goes at a 0. It's more like a range of motion thing. So it depends kind of, what is your impairment level and what is the range of motion level there, Donald, as far as that's concerned. Okay, no thumbs. Yeah, I have no clue. Okay, 2 more thumbs came up. So I don't know if it's like before you open it, if there's like a thumb up thing maybe outside of the video. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, 2 more popped up. So I'm not too sure how that works. It's in a couple of days, Charles. Okay, check. Yeah, so check the videos. Like I said, I know our class is next Wednesday. The class I teach is next Wednesday, but check those 2 videos on my page here. Again, I kind of really cover the differences between 70 and 100 range. So, well, 50, 70, and 100 range. So I think that's going to be something helpful for you. The biggest thing is stick to your truths, speak to the symptoms, speak present tense, give examples, not just keywords. That's one of the biggest things that I would definitely hit on. In about 2 hours, I should have a video to post. It's a bit longer video, but I think it's definitely worth it. I talk about the proposed changes. Everybody's asking about the proposed changes. So that video is scheduled to post here in 2 hours or so. And I kind of cover the proposed changes for sleep apnea, tinnitus, and the mental health as well. And I show you where those changes are being noted and how basically we're tackling that. So I'm not too concerned about it. I think that if you know what you're doing and you have a plan of action, understand regulation, these changes won't necessarily really make a big difference no matter what anybody says on these here social, medias, right? It's just understanding how to make the argument for our vets. But yeah, Charles, man, good luck to your exam. Good luck on your exam. Let me know how it goes for you once it's all said and done. I was rated 50% for PTSD, and it was 11 months ago. Doctors say I should have been 70 to 100. I am taking the CMP Monday. I submitted a DBQ and another Nexus letter. Do you have any advice? Okay, so they gave you 50%, and that was 11 months ago. So now you are appealing that and you're going back for an increase, or did you appeal it since it was 11 months ago? So did you appeal or did you do an increase, Anthony, for that mental health claim? Thanks everybody for popping in. We got a little question there as far as if you're rated or not, to kind of gauge who we have in attendance. Answer some questions for a little bit here. There's a link in my bio that I have for our upcoming BDD workshop. So if you know somebody who's active duty transitioning, putting together a class that we're rolling out here on the 19th of March. So looking forward to that. Link is in bio for the wait list for that there. And then I also have a checklist on the link in bio. So, you can feel free to share those with anyone who is in that category. Okay, so Anthony's going for an increase. Check. So a few things, right? Because it's 11 months ago, you could technically appeal that with a supplemental and just say, hey, you got it wrong, but increase nonetheless, same thing. So for you, same thing I was just telling Charles. I have a class I'm teaching this coming Wednesday, ACE Your CMP. It's a live class that I teach. Links in my bio for that. You can check that out there if you're interested in jumping into that class. But there's 2 videos I have up, the 50 to 70 jump and the 70 to 100 mental health jump. And the biggest thing for you, right? You're a 50. When we're looking at the 50 range, it's I have a difficulty of doing something. I expand on that. Whereas if we start going into the 70 range, we're talking more now. We're having inabilities to do things. So that changes kind of like the language and the tone that we're saying there. So that's one of the biggest things I would say varies from one rating to the next. So for you, speaking to those symptoms, speaking to the 70 symptoms, speaking to the 100 symptom, again, even if you have a few symptoms at the 100, those things matter. So sometimes veterans tend to get wrapped around the edges when it comes to, I don't have all the symptoms here, so I'm not going to talk about XYZ, right? So let me give you an example here since I'm right in front of the computer. So this is the rating criteria right here. So where we go over to mental health. I'll pull up the rating criteria here. Make sure you guys can probably see it here. Um, and the biggest thing here, again, as you'll see in the video I'm referencing, is the differences here. You know, you're here, you spoke to these symptoms. When I said earlier, right, it's a conversation of, for example, difficulty versus inability, right? Like those mean things. Like, is it difficult for you to establish effective relationships, or is it do you have an inability, right? There's a difference between it's hard to do this to where I just can't, right? Divorces, jobs, strained relationships, etc. Different conversation, different rating too, right? So that's a big one. And understanding that here we're going into more details. Like you may have some panic attacks here, but here we're looking at more continuous one that happen more often, inabilities to do certain things. So again, that word inability, you see it pop up here a few times versus I'm having difficulties in certain ways, right? So again, reduce reliability and productivity versus deficiencies in most areas. So if you understand that, right, that's going to be one of the biggest things that's going to help you to make a solid argument. But then don't just go in there thinking, okay, I have to speak to, I have this or I have these obsessional rituals. But no, rather give examples. Like, what does that mean for you specifically? Why is it that you have, for example, let yourself go in certain areas, or you have, set depressions that go, or like what everybody talks about, neglected personal hygiene. Like, why do you have neglected personal hygiene? Why is that something, for example, that has, you've let it go? For many people, it's many things, right? Veterans who, some are MST survivors, they've been through things where like, I just don't want to be here anymore, right? And this is the reason why I've let certain things go, et cetera, et cetera. So understanding that as a big one. The biggest thing too here is this little, if it will focus here in a second. Do, 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 do. So I always look at this, right? Such as, right? Um, this little thing right here. This is and or, right? Again, it's a minutia thing, but it's really more saying, hey, it's not that you have to have everything here. People get that mistaken. Like, say for example, you can speak to the symptoms at the 70. You may have a few things, maybe one or two at the 100, but you're thinking, hey, I'm not going to speak about that because I don't have everything there. That's actually incorrect. That's not how this should be viewed, for a few different reasons. So let's see. Let's go over here, and I will. Let's see. What do I want to jump into? Do 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 do. No, I don't want to jump into that one. Let's go on this side. Let's go here, and let's go to higher two. So I like to bring this up a few times. This is the higher two evaluations. And I just showed you some symptoms at the 70. I just showed you some symptoms at the 100. But if you see here, right, I'll zoom out a little bit, or maybe what I'll do to make it easier for you all. Again, I'm testing this on the phone thing here, so bear with me. I'm usually just sharing my screen, do it on the computer, but Facebook said, hey, try it this way, so here we are. But I really want to focus on this here. And this is the higher two evaluation, where there's a question as to which of two evaluations to assign, let's say 70 to 100, like we just looked at the mental health, to be applied. The higher two evaluation will be assigned if the disability picture more nearly approximates the criteria required for that rating. Otherwise, the lower one will go. So in English, what that means is just that. Sometimes we have veterans that literally are going to just downplay something and think, oh, okay, I don't have this or I don't have that because I can't, cover all the symptoms, right? Let's go back to the mental health, which is what we're talking about with you, right? So again, if we could speak to the 70 symptoms, yeah, speak to those things. But maybe you may have one or two things here. They're going to look at the total weight of where you're at to be able to make a conversation. So that's a big one that a lot of folks tend to sometimes not really understand. You sell yourself short because you don't know what you don't know. When it comes to that, right? So that's the biggest thing I would say. Again, the video I have up on 50, the jump from 50 to 70 and 70 to 100 is a big one. This Wednesday coming up, I do my ACE or CMP class. Link for that's in my bio. But again, those are some things to, look at there. So hopefully that helps and give some context there. Let's see. What is the difference in pros and cons for increases versus appeals in the PT situation? So in this situation, right, because he's in that window where, let's say he was rated 11 months ago, if he doesn't appeal and says, hey, I don't think you guys got the right rating, it should have been higher, then they're going to backdate that to the original claim. Versus if I say I want to do an increase now, they're potentially going to pick up the increase from this moment forward. Again, they're both fine. It's just more so if the argument and things were there in place to argue that before, you can go back. But if not, then it's just more an effective date conversation. Either way, like I said, it'll hopefully get the increase going. But one just says, "Hey, you got it wrong. Let's look at this again." Another one just says, "Hey, things are worse. Let's take a look at this." In his case, things have got worse. He has more documentation to provide to make that argument. So now he has to go present himself and knock the CMP out. Let's see. Do you feel that most PTSD claims are full of poo poo? No, I don't. I don't think that. I just had actually a meeting yesterday with a psychologist that I'm partnered with, and a lot of veterans just don't know what they don't know, right? More people, more often than not, people just are not really much aware when it comes to that, as far as mental health and things like that. There's a whole criteria of things. Some folks may think they have a PTSD, but they don't necessarily meet the criteria for it. Some people have PTSD but can't speak to those things. You put stuff away, and that's all she wrote. I just got back from Arizona, and one of the veterans that we're helping, he's out there. He's a World War II veteran. He's 96 years old. He turned leap year baby, so he turned 24. But he filed his first claim ever last year. And there's a lot of things. It's just like this is just the way he is, right? But nobody takes context into, wait a second, how were you before service? Luckily, his brother was there, who was also a Korean War veteran. He was 91. They were both in Korea together. How was it before service? Things like that. Like those kind of conversations really come into play because of things he experienced. And though he's 96, he can tell you everything that happened on certain occasions. Like I can't remember what the hell I ate freaking yesterday, let alone what happened freaking, in freaking 59 and 62. You know what I mean? So it's just insane how trauma, really it stamps certain things there. So in my experience, I wouldn't say so much that there's a lot of poo poo. Of course, there's going to be people. I do videos that you've seen here probably, or you may have seen, or you can go see, uh, which I'm going to start loading more here, dumb way to files. And I'll do like, like a synopsis on people who claim dumb stuff or fake things. Um, I would encourage, and again, so for those again, I'm trying to get more stuff going on this side of the YouTube side of the house. Most of the stuff I do is on TikTok, so you'll see I have more traction there. I do more stuff there, but I'm trying to push more content on this side because I think the things that I do, especially as you see, I think it's just better to reference it here than over there because a lot of stuff gets lost over there. But I do things different, right? I'll show you things. I'll show it to you in the regulation, not just, oh, I think a thing is a thing. So in an hour, a video on the proposed changes, sleep apnea, tinnitus, and mental health, the changes that they're proposing, that everybody's talking about here on these, YouTubes and stuff. I'm covering it and I'm talking about it. I talked about that 2.5 years ago because it was pretty much announced in 2022. We talked about it then. There's a suspense date of June of this year where they're supposed to make a decision. So hopefully, if it does pass, then good. If not, then back to the drawing board, right? And if it doesn't pass, it's a period of time before implementation. So a little bit of that, right? So more content coming this way. I appreciate you all if you are following and commenting. I try to answer everybody as best I can. So if it's my name, I'm always the one responding. So I like to take pride in that. But no, I've seen, most of the time that veterans just don't know what they don't know, right? So that's what I would say for that. Let's see. CFR 38 knowledge, 100% BSO here. How's it going? Pretty good, Sharper. How are you? Dennis, Army 86 and 92. Appreciate you. For new folks, pump it on in. Let me know what branch of service you were in and the years that you served. It's always cool to kind of see who we have in the virtual building. I don't know how to put a thumbs up on this stuff, but apparently there is somewhere a thumbs up is here. So if we give a thumbs up to this, that'd be kind of dope as we're trying to, play nice with YouTube. A friend of mine was in an explosion, was not hurt on record, but suffered in the past from substance abuse. Now has mental issues since not on medication. Since I didn't go to the doctor when the event happened. So Charles, that's a good question, but you kind of answered it too, right? So this also happens a lot with MST situations, right? Military sexual trauma type of stuff where a veteran may not go and get seen or complain for many reasons, but by definition, post traumatic stress disorder means something's happened post service, right? Post traumatic event, rather. But there are things that can be used to make the argument, things like markers, things you just said, those things are called markers, right? I had a veteran, for example, who was a victim of MST in the 80s. So here you have a, young man in 86, African American, inner city, regular person, kind of coming up through the ranks, doing what he has to do in the military and army, and he was assaulted, sexually, and he had denied a few different times, but after service, he kind of went from rising star to being put out to having legal problems, drug problems, homelessness, all kinds of different things, legal infractions, etc. his story, his life kind of had markers of like there was a change here. So to your point, this thing happened and you started to do things. These things started affecting you. Those markers point to, hey, something was going on with this person for sure, and that helps make or corroborate some of the story, right? Like, why did all of a sudden you do a 180, right? So there are instances where a veteran does not complain and serves about said traumatic events, but it can still be argued, right? Thanks for the folks that hit us a little thumbs up or those that figured it out because I have no clue how this works. This is the first time I'm doing it like this. I like to do it on a computer to show things, but YouTube said go ahead and do it this way. So here we are. Okay. Appreciate you, blood pressure. Is insomnia a separate rating from mental health? So that's the change. If you guys want, check out the live video. I did one with Tara, who I partner with on the medical side. That's on my page here. You will see it under the live channel, on the video channel. That was from last week. But the short and skinny is insomnia was always looked at as a symptom of something, right? A symptom of mental health. But now they've added the fact that it truly can be a symptom of other things like physical conditions. And it can also now be a standalone mental health rating. Not very easy. And again, we discussed it in more detail in that live. But when it comes to insomnia itself, you have some veterans who don't have an argument for PTSD or major depressive or, generalized anxiety disorder, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they can argue potentially insomnia, right? And that in and of itself will be a straight claim as mental health, right? As a standalone versus just a symptom of something. So that change just came out in January. That's one of the videos that I put up that did pretty well here. But unpacking that and kind of really going into detail. Me and Tara talked a little bit about it in that live. So I like having medical providers come and kind of have a conversation about that, so you kind of get it from the horse's mouth. But the short and skinny is that it's not a separate rating per se. It is a mental health rating by itself that they're treating it analogous, which means is being rated as part of the mental health criteria. So that's one of the things there to note. Let's see here. I want to show something else. Where is there was something here I wanted to bring up since I have this. So, and for those who don't know, so analogous rating in this regard here is there is not a rating for insomnia. So it's being rated analogous, which means just similar to this thing. So there are instances where things can be rated similar to this thing. Like, for example, a prostate condition won't be rated prostate, but it can be rated as urinary frequency or avoiding dysfunction because you're unable to go. Um, so a few things there. Army, 2000, 2004, 10th Mountain, Climb to Glory. Let's see, Donnie, Army, 100%, 82 to 93. What's going on, Donnie? Let's see, Osvaldo, 89 to 96, Army. Where does time go? Wasn't it just 96 yesterday? Bobby's in the building, Army, 89 to 97, Desert Storm, 9091, check. Maurice is in the building, Army, 89 to 99, shout out to you. Veterans get your C file to help with your claims. Good luck. Check. Request them. Do those Freedom Information Acts requests. Afternoon and all. What's going on, Jose? 12 Bang Bang in the building. Uh, Got to chat with some vets. I'll read you on afterward if you're still on a couple of hours. Hopefully not. I'm going to jump from here and probably jump on TikTok or something for a little bit and do a little pop in there. Does someone who has TDIU return to their previous rating once they? No, you keep TDIU, Osvaldo. Some people can go from there, um, and let's say go to PNT, but no, you pretty much stay there, so that won't change anything. Big thing for those, if you have anybody you know who is active duty transitioning and what have you, I'm putting together a workshop. There's a link in my bio here that has a BDD checklist. I highly encourage you all to share that, check that out. But there's also a wait list for the course I'm doing on the 19th of March at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and it is for transitioning active duty folks. So those folks leaving service, we're talking VA claims from start to finish and kind of covering that, what to do, how to prepare, some of the gaps in information and things like that. So if you know someone or you're in that category, feel free to check that out. It'll be pretty cool. Let's see. Marshall, 17 years, Army, 2 tours, Iraq, 1 Afghanistan. I'm glad that you're here, my brother. Let's see. Where is. Um, yeah, I was just literally showing this a minute ago. So I guess because I'm mobile, I can just go ahead and change it that way. Let's try this way. Boop. So you'll know you're at the wait list because you'll see this, the checklist that I'm talking about. The link's in my bio as well. But you'll see it. It looks a little something like this. So look, cool little checklist there that has some stuff there that kind of helps. And then on the wait list, we'll eventually we'll send this link out here. This will go live today and kind of have some details on the course and kind of what's going on, being able to register and all that cool stuff there. But yeah, that is the waitlist information. So definitely check that out. Link is in bio for that. Let's see. Can you get CRNCC, can I retire? Like regular retirement? I've seen that for sure. Needle Mouse, what's going on? What's going on? I know I know it's about claims here, but I received a root service from VA doctor that a patient advocate complained, but I feel like it wasn't totally dealt with. At least send these messages. It was. Yeah, you could definitely push back and raise hell for that. Just venting. What do you think is the best way to deal with rude doctor speaks? Yeah, patient advocate for sure. You can definitely complain that and raise hell as far as that's concerned. So, sadly, to your point, that's one of the things that happens quite a lot, and they get away with it because they think they can just treat and veterans however they want, and veterans just kind of deal with it, which is unsat. So that would be the first course of action, right? Reporting that. Um, and then from there, making a point to write it up as well and make sure that's on writing. That helps there too. Let's see. I don't know about slipping it in, but yeah, there's a bunch of veterans here, man. What the fuck you trying to slip in? Hmm? Slip one in. What are we talking about? Anywho's, let's see. Do, 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 do. But yeah, I'm sorry that you have to go through that, brother. All right, good people. Let's see. That puts us at 41 minutes. So I'm gonna hang it there again in an hour, or less now rather. The video on the proposed changes will drop. So be on the lookout for that. If you're following, make sure that you are. If you like some of the content, hit the little bell notification. It helps at least let you know, when things pop up. I'm gonna get in a better schedule to post on a regular schedule stuff, but that's it's easier said than done sometimes. Life happens, things happen, and it just is what it is. However, trying to get a little more intentional on this platform here, it just kind of is what it is. So, um, but yeah, more stuff that I want to do, more deeper dive stuff. So, as you're asking questions and there are things you want to see touched on or developed or covered, definitely feel free to do that. Let's see. Why did I join the army? Why did my retarded behind join the army? Acronyms. For me, no. It was school. I was a flight major in New York, and that was one of the ways to kind of get out and do that thing. I wasn't going to take loans and didn't have a silver spoon, so for me, it was a big way out to do something. And then after that, 9/11 happened, all these other different things, and that kind of changed um, the trajectory of how I went about things there. But the army was one of the fits that was there. One of the recruiters that popped up from that perspective. So I really never thought about it. I actually thought I was go to Marine Corps, personally speaking, but went Army. But then fast forward, I went to the government after service, and I went to the Marine Corps University Command and Staff College. So I was able to spend some time with them there doing that. Um, let's see. Oh no, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, for sure. That's what it's all about. You ask the questions. I'm all cool for that. I have no problems. Answering stuff. Like it's always weird to me when people get like all bent out of shape. Like, well, then why would you be on social media? People are gonna ask questions. That's kind of that's part of the process too. So, but yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Got to work and do a lot of cool things and deploy, etc. And then at the command staff college with the Marines, that was pretty cool too there. So good time. Thanks for the thumbs up, folks. I don't know how that works here yet on these type of lives, but I appreciate it. You're welcome, Ray. Appreciate you, brother. How does working on deferred claim subject the claim current what? Does working on deferred claims subject to current? So I wouldn't touch it if it's deferred. They're doing something, which means that they're not done doing what they're doing there. So define what you mean by work. It should be a thing where they should be able to continue doing what they're doing on their side, and it's just they're just not done with it yet. Does your seal of heartburn pick including particulate sands and cleaning fumes? Is that true? Um, So yeah, you have burn pits and things that you're exposed to from respiratory. Now, Terra is one of the big ones, right? That toxic exposure risk activity kind of envelops a lot of these things. So it's not automatic like you get one to the other per se. But being exposed to that is very common. You have a lot of respiratory situations and things like that. One of the things that throws veterans off a lot is they think just because I was exposed to Agent Orange, I'm filing Agent Orange, or I'm going to file PAC Act, or I'm going to file Gulf War. Well, no, that's not how that works. More so because you were exposed to Agent Orange, and today you have diabetes. That's the argument, right? You were in the Gulf War region, and because of that, you have respiratory issues. That's presumptive. Under PAC Act, there are certain cancers that were added because you were in certain locations. So these are expansion, bills and acts and so forth, but you can't file them directly. And some veterans don't know that, so they just randomly file the wrong things. Like you just can't file PAC Act. But yeah, as far as like the burn pits and being exposed to things, now the question is, what did it cause for you, and what issues or things have you developed post those things? What's up, Turning Dash? Would you know why they're so behind on completing claims? Yeah, so got a lot of raiders that are friends, RVSRs, VSRs, etc. And it's just a backlog, you know what I mean? But it's a combination of things. It's a backlog that's happening at the VA, the complexity of claims, whose desk you fall on. So there's also many different variables as to why certain things are happening the way they're happening. You know, it's just a slew of it. And also the claim, is it standard? Is it fully developed? How much is needed? How many things were claimed? You know what I mean? So it's so many variables that go into it. But the backlog for sure, the PAC Act, everybody and their mama submitted a claim for PAC Act, and some didn't have a PAC Act claim to file, which again, it's not a PAC Act claim, is, but you don't claim PAC Act. So a lot of people just filing stuff because they thought it was going to be the, the holy grail of a thing, and you just end up with sinusitis, some at zero. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just the volume of claims. And the crazy thing is, because the PAC Act, yeah, it was cool, but they're supposed to also hire and onboard a lot of people, and that process didn't happen as fast as it should have. So, staff, right? More volume, less, not enough staff, causes kind of that backlog. JP Fuel, yeah. So don't blaze. That falls into now the whole toxic exposure risk activity. So being exposed to those type of things. Now the question is, what has developed? What things do you have? I think I have a video here. If not, I have to upload it. I don't have it on TikTok, where I talked about JP Fuel specifically, and I listed some of the different conditions based off studies and stuff like that. So if there are conditions you have that you can attribute to that exposure to JP8 fuel, jet fuel, you can potentially rather file that claim, and I'll go through the Terra pathway, toxic exposure risk activity. Can I file secondary claim off my problem list and my medical records? So no, the secondaries will be something rated. Your problem is our diagnosis is that you have. That's for healthcare purposes, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can go secondary to it, right? Like if you say I have migraines on my problem list, well, are you rated for migraines? If you're not rated for migraines, going to secondary to that, it's not going to go very far because it has to be something rated, right? Um, Call George Sink Law Firm. They help with VA claims. Oh, there you go. I might have missed it. Could you give little of your background? Yeah, yeah. So medically retired, law enforcement, worked in government, counterterrorism, active duty, army, combat, disabled veteran, and then medically retired. That kind of forced me down this rabbit hole of VA claims. I was part of one of the biggest companies out there, VA Claims Insider, for a little bit of time before it became what it became. So that throughout that whole process. Part of that whole stuff, some of the big names you see on here, these social medias, before they became who they became, we were part of kind of the same organization of sorts and collaborated. And then from there, I didn't really like how that organization grew, so I resigned and left as it was continuing to grow. Went to go to kind of do my own thing for a bit. Started my own organization, so now I have some ex-VSOs, I have raiders, I have doctors I've networked with, psychologists, and so forth, and creating content here. Trying to get back into it on TikTok. We have one of the biggest pages over there, and we do a lot of stuff on that side of the house. So, yeah, been in the claim space for well over 5 years now with a whole team behind me. So we do different things, classes, different stuff. Like I'm talking right now, put together a free BDD checklist for actively transitioning people. We don't have enough help for them. And I'm putting together a class that's happening March 19, covering the process for those people in that capacity, right? on the transitioning side of the house. So that'll be like a 1 day workshop type of thing. But yeah, creating different offerings for veterans in in different aspects of the VA claim thing. We have a skill set, solve a problem, and we can communicate it, and we help veterans, and we show up, and answer questions. That's what we're doing right now. So that's that part. Okay. Do I feel that this works in the favor of a veteran for election years? I think it comes down to just it's just we're like a good talking piece, right? Look at all we've done for our veterans, blah blah blah. So in turn, now what's going to happen is they're going to start moving claims very quickly because the backlog is increasing. It's getting ridiculous. People are complaining, and it doesn't look good to have those complaints coming up. So they'll do some things to move the things across, which always kind of happens around these times. So that'll be interesting how that happens. We have bills that are still going nowhere, the STAR Act, the Plus Act, the Guard Act, etc. So there's a lot of movement that has to happen, but sadly, it's just sometimes vaporware. Um, so yeah, so I have actually some folks used to work for me. They went on to work over to the VA as VSRs. So it's different over there because you're looking at, quality is definitely, pushed, but it's really a quantity game. So once you get kind of off second signature, and you're doing your own thing there, it's kind of hard, right? Going with the flow, um, uh, of how these things should go, right? So if you're a veteran, you understand it. They encourage, obviously quality care and things like that. But sometimes, sadly, the way the system works and point systems and so forth, accuracy, etc., kind of work against that. So I know a lot of people that kind of went into the job with the best of intentions, and then they start to see the politics and just the fact that it's a government agency like any other, and they're disenfranchised. They want to do right by the veteran, but really it's a numbers game at the end of the day, right? Quality is great and supported and loved, but quantity is still the name of the game, So, um, but if you're able to, go through it, and you're, like I said, going to the process, the training, it should be longer. I've seen some folks get moved right into phase 2 versus phase 1 of training just because they had a background. So, that kind of becomes a thing. But, you know, I'd say that if you can go to the politics and you're pretty savvy with systems and things like that, the more people we have that get it, the better. Sadly, the job will burn people out. You have mandatory overtime and all these things that are happening now. So yeah, it's hard. I got some people who are VSRs that they will not move up to be an RVSR, and they want them to move up, and they're like, not no, but hell no. You know what I'm saying? So it sucks because it's like you got the right people who go in with the right of intentions, best of intentions rather, and they kind of get burnt out some. So let's see. Mo, yeah, yourself. You can advocate for yourself. You can look at some of these content they have. VSOs are out there that can definitely help. There are, other organizations that can help. I'm big on options. I'm never one to say do this, do that per se. I'll call out things as kind of I see them. But someone you feel comfortable with, someone that can understand what you're going through, someone that should be able to have a conversation with you, not just say, hey, let's file for everything. Because your situation, Mo, is going to be very different than somebody else's situation. So I always say, when it comes to the VA claim process, we have to understand it's a individual conversation. And I get it. Some veterans are up in arms and they're like, I don't care what I have to do to get this stuff. I understand the frustration, but that mentality is a slippery slope because that's not how we need to approach this. And I get it. The VA gets it wrong and all the things, check. However, it's a slippery slope because I'll do whatever it takes to say whatever I have to say to get my rating. It can end up pretty bad for some people. I believe a veteran's truth is enough. I think sometimes we have to fight and it becomes an uphill battle, yes. But understanding for you what needs to be done. I talked about my World War II veteran who I just got back from seeing. He's 96 years old. Filed his first claim when he was 95. He can't just throw things against the wall, see what happens, right? Strategy, and then to understanding what can you file for? What are you diagnosed with? How are things potentially better suited to be claimed? The longer you've been out, understanding too that you may have to work backwards because you got to think about it, right? Random example. I got out of service with a bad left knee. I can argue that, but I don't argue that. Fast forward, that makes my right knee worse. Fast forward, now I'm having a different walking gait situation that affects my lower back situation. Fast forward, I'm taking meds that's causing some acid reflux and things like that. Fast forward, now I have pain meds and things that I'm taking doesn't work anymore. That creates some medication. Fast forward, that causes some migraines. Fast forward. So my whole point is, you see how these things keep happening. At the end of the day, all that stuff causes anxiety, depression. All that happens over a period of time. I'm making that example to say the following. If someone is a situation like that, right now my biggest issue is migraines, but really it's not the migraine I can file right now. I have to go all the way back to what is the linchpin of the situation. In this case, it could be my left knee. And then from there, I can argue those secondaries as needed. So the longer you've been out, working backwards to understand, hey, what exactly is it we can tie back now? And then potentially make an argument for secondaries is key because if I file for migraines right now, I never complained about it in service, nor is something I can directly file to service. So I'm denied. I wasted my time. Well, no, it's more of a secondary something else. And so that ripple effect, even understanding that, that requires some time and conversation. So, but there's many ways to go about this, Mo. You know what I mean? Just ask around, have conversations, and who you feel comfortable with that'll fight with you and go with you through the process. Even if you get denied, again, it might be a long haul. That's what I would say. Didn't explain clearly. My question is, can I file secondary against my rare diagnosis? Yeah. If you're rated for something, you can file a secondary, Angel. I just want to make sure that, folks don't see like problem lists and think, oh, I have this, I'm gonna file for it, right? Yeah, you can file for a secondary off of that. So in this case, like I just mentioned, I have my left knee, it's rated, my right knee now is bad too. I'm gonna file my right knee. Um, Yeah. And even if you don't, like there are things you may have that are not your problem list that you may have to go get diagnosed for, i.e., these medications give me migraines or whatever case may be. So that may be an argument. But yeah, I got very little medical record from NARA recently for claims and important injuries missing. I need to have some results. So H-Bates, there's a few things. You know, check that again. Be careful with some lawyers. Some lawyers will try to trap you into some contracts that are funky. I've seen some horror stories, just as equally as horrific as people make out some of these other companies to be. So pick your poison. There's shit everywhere. That's just the facts. Good ones for sure. But make sure you understand, hey, what's the argument? What are we fighting? How are you helping me? What are the resources? Sometimes records can be missing, but things can be supplemented or worked backwards. Nexus letters, current records, getting medical opinions to supplement things that are there. For example, I may not have records showing this injury I have, but it's presently an injury I have, obviously, even though I don't have those records, so we can work backwards. So understand that process is key. Some of these lawyers, for sure, have a network of providers they can work with and help you with. So I would definitely say that's something you can check out for sure. Phil, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you. Great seeing you in class yesterday. I think I called on you, but you might have not heard. You're very welcome. Mahan, what stateside? I'm in the DMV area from New York originally. What's up, Needle Moose? Secondary issues are eligible to rate this may potentially increase the current rating. Yeah. So it won't necessarily. So Michael, it's not going to necessarily raise a current rating. So you can have, for argument's sake, that left knee at 10, it made the right knee worse, and in turn, you now make the right knee a separate rating. It would be a separate rating. So it would overall increase your rating, but a secondary doesn't increase the primary, I guess, is more what I'm trying to make sure that folks understand. But yeah, you can file for the secondary, which overall would raise your rating. So let's say you're at 70% with all these different things, and you file for migraines, that's adds another 50 to the mix. Boop, up you go. Dun, 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 dun. What is the horror? Needle mouse. What's going on? I'm curious now. What is the horror of the Winnie the Pooh movie? Inquiring minds want to know. BT. You're welcome, Angel. Um, I'll be honest. I think I know what you're saying, BT. But man, look, I can't keep up with half this lingo. I have to call my kids to figure out what he looks like he got the Riz means. Ooh, let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Thanks for the those that commented on the poll. So let's see. Out of 86 votes, we have 67% that are rated and 33% that are not rated. So yeah, cool. Um, let's see. I appreciate everybody watching for a little bit here. Link to my bio has a cool different things. I mentioned it again. We're doing a can you answer jet fuel comment? Terra, basically. So you're filing that through Terra, which is toxic exposure risk activity that exposes you to those toxins. And then the biggest issue is, okay, you were exposed to that jet fuel, but what are you claiming? You can't claim exposure to jet fuel. You're claiming something that stemmed from that, right? So what are those common things that are now, effects of that exposure? For example, Agent Orange, right? Diabetes and Parkinson's are presumptives of those things. So under the Terra, you're arguing I was exposed to JP8 jet fuel, and in turn that caused these issues, and now I have this condition, and now I'm going to file it. So that's kind of the rationale of how that goes. Don't be lazy on that side of the house. Um, let's see here. But yeah, link in my bio has the BDD checklist for those active duty people leaving. There's a wait list for the class I'm doing on the 19th for this month. So if you know someone on active duty who wants to jump in, we're covering VA claims for active duty transitioning folks from A to Z. People have requested it, so sharing it here as well for if anybody knows someone or is in that category that needs that. It'll be a great course, and it'll also be available for replay, etc. What's up, Twinkle Toes? My son-in-law applied for shoulder rating increase, got a letter reducing him 10% without a physical. You can appeal that H rates. So there's a lot of different things going on there. Is there records at VA marked improvement or something like that? Like, what's the rationale for that, right? For them to not even do without a CMP. So that's something where, again, it could just be outright administrative error, or there may be something that we have in records that's showing, hey, there's marked improvement here, or some kind of error of sorts, so in some shape, fashion, or form. So you can definitely appeal. Dun, dun, dun. I have to look that up. Top of my head, I can tell you, David. How did your exam go? I don't think I saw you in class last time, David, for the CMP thing. Let's see. You're very welcome. But yeah, definitely appeal. And kind of look into hey, what's going on here? Because there should be a rationale even on the denial side of the house. So that's something to not just sit back and take for sure. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to see here real quickly so I can. It's I think David on your side is more correction um of something when they do like the AP code 960 as you mentioned. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more internal on their side, not so much a thing on you. So something must be being corrected. So correction of a previous error, um, in some shape, fashion, or form. So something was amiss. So it's an error code, um, and it's more on their side internal. So not a you thing, David. Let's see. Hit on the head because I'm at 70 right now. I've been struggling to get the last 30. How can I get in contact with you, sir? I'm just out of curiosity what branch was. Army. And I was admin for a little bit of time. So I was a recruiter. I was admin. I did a lot of time on the finance world. So I was a dispersing manager. That was one of the things there. And then from there, I left and went into law enforcement and things like that after the fact. Michael, link in my bio here. That you'll be able to kind of see how to get in contact, reach out. Our website, veteransnetwork.club, as well. But yeah, link in my bio will take you to all the stuff that we have there to reach out, etc. 56 Mike for several years, Army Reserve, Phil. Yay. Uh, yeah. Let's see. But yeah, hopefully that helps there. But yeah, you should be able to see on my profile. There's like a link that now they have enabled there, and that link tree has like all different things you can see. So book a call, reach out, and whatnot. Take a look at some of the things that we have. So that is available there for sure. Um, and again, here at the top of the hour, the proposed changes video should be going live. So that's scheduled to go out, and I cover um, whatchamacallit, the proposed changes for mental health, sleep apnea, and tinnitus. So that'll be pretty cool. And I think y'all will like that. So a little bit in detail there, but it's going to be um, dope. So there's that part. Let's see. I'm gonna say something. Yeah, so that's scheduled for 5 p.m. Let's see. Thank you. We'll do Medic Station and the Marines with the Marines in Okinawa and a Gulf War vet. Check, Michael. Awesome. That's good seeing you. Good meeting you here for sure. Let's, I always feel you could pin stuff here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and pin. Let's fill in the business. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Like, sure, if you're following, again, hit the little like button and follow button and the little bell notification, and you'll see when the videos get posted. Try to post a few more things here on the YouTube side of the house. So, and I'll try to schedule some of these lives as well. Like I said, I just got like a notification from YouTube, and they were like, "Hey, you can go live and do it vertical, so try it out." And I was like, "All right, I guess I'll try it because." That's the name of the game. Be nice with the system gets nice with you and whatnot. But yeah, uploading shorts and longer form videos and things like that. So check that out. At some point, I think I might do maybe like they had like little membership area things. I got a message about that, so you can do certain things for members, and I don't know. We'll see. Those are some things that I may roll out once we get more traction here. So I think it's always cool to have like certain things for folks that are a little more invested. Because it gets noisy, people jump in, ask questions, all kinds of stuff. So to have stuff that's more specialized and requested, I think that'll be cool. People always ask, "Hey, make some for this, make some for that," and they don't even watch it or comment on it, right? So yeah, more to follow there. But yeah, we're gonna index here. I appreciate y'all for spending here some time this afternoon. But I'll be back. I'm gonna go pop over to Tech Talk for a little bit, see what's happening over there, and I'll be back later. But be on the lookout for the video on the way. Check the link in my bio for some of the cool stuff we have. The BDD workshop. Jump on that wait list and let another active duty person know. Even if they're a year out or 2 years out, it's great to start planning and get resources for that. So touching VA claims start to finish with resources, roadmap, and answering all said questions. Michael, looking forward to speaking to you soon and seeing you in one of our sessions here in the near future. Let's see where the final poll ended. Out of 97 votes, we got to 66% that are rated, 34% that are not rated over the life of that poll that we had up there. So pretty cool. But all right. Have a great evening or morning, afternoon, wherever you may be, and we'll be back next time.